Explained by the Billy Meier contacts. Mysteries, myths, legends, conspiracy theories, historical inaccuracies, and more. Compiled by David Chance, revised October 18, 2023.
Antimatter. Contact Report 055. The present ship is equipped with an antimatter propulsion system for free space, which was developed more than 50,000 years ago.
You are talking about antimatter. Does it really exist?
It exists, but our scientists only discovered and researched it in the first millennium after the colonization of Era. Until then, they knew very well that there had to be some anti-forces, but they were only able to prove their existence in the millennium mentioned and to use this form of energy. Contact Report 216.
Sim Yase once explained to me, in response to one of my questions, that antimatter is real and that this was already discovered by your ancestors more than 50,000 years ago and has been used by you since that time as beamship propulsion. Since then, have you researched and developed new techniques for this?
Of course, negative matter, as we call antimatter, has already been used by us for 50 millennia for all sorts of purposes. And of course, also much other research was connected with it and still is. Therefore, new insights will also constantly be won and will create new ones, with which negative matter is brought to application or is used.
Contact Report 252.
Either Sim Yase or Quetzal once explained to me that the finest form of antimatter is one of many factors that causes aging. How is that to be understood?
Unfortunately, I am not allowed to talk officially about this, which is why the explanation must be that it is only a very fine form of antimatter, which as such is not comparable with the actual antimatter and which we ourselves discovered only about 22 years ago. This form of antimatter also does not cause the same thing as the actual antimatter, but in a protracted process it produces an enzyme type in the cells, which is called galactosidase by earthly scientists, whereby the process is genetically controlled. In this form, there is a certain connection between the finest antimatter form mentioned above and aging. I am not allowed to explain more officially.
Anunnaki Zakaria Sitchin. Contact Report 228.
However, what emerges from ancient writings concerning the Anunnaki and the planet Nibiru is based on mythological facts as well as on faith, misdirection, and misconceptions. The Anunnaki beings were a pure imagination of the Earth humans, who imaginatively and believingly constructed the Anunnaki people of the planet Nibiru from it. When the gigantic celestial structure appeared, which in reality was not an actual planet, but an unusually large comet, which has an actual orbital period around the SOL system of about 3,600 years. The Anunnaki people of Nibiru therefore only appeared mythologically in the imagination of ancient Earth humans, but in reality it never existed because the comet is not capable of supporting human life.
Contact Report 443.
On the 17th of February 2005, Quetzal and I talked privately about the conspiracy books of various scribblers, such as Zachariah Sitchin, David Icke, Jan van Holy alias Jan van Helsing, as well as Andreas von Retje and others.
All in all, these kinds of nonsensical writings are commercially oriented to make the ruble roll, as you say, so that the scribblers, if I want to use your expression, can fill their pockets with money. The whole of all the conspiracy theories described in all the countless books are based on sheer nonsense, as are the writings in books containing supernaturalism and assertions about the alleged infiltration of earthly governments by extraterrestrials. Conspiracy theories of all kinds, as well as supernatural, occult, and esoteric nonsense, are in great demand among the believers in these drivel. In fact, all the many books of this kind are based on silliness, senselessness, folly, as well as blooming and higher nonsense, as you always say so aptly.
If you will allow me to interrupt, I have a few other terms for the whole thing, such as noble baloney, bullshit, hooey, stupidity and folly, torchlight, ridiculousness, simple-mindedness, gibberish, folly and folly, etc. I would also like to say that, with regard to all this nonsense, there are special bookstores which, for good money, bring the rubbish books among the people, from whom the roaring rubbish is eaten like hotcakes. With very many people on earth the unreal, untrue, fantastic, occult, esoteric, religious, sectarian, supposedly supernatural and supernatural, is not only considered to be more than truth and reality, but effectively everything.
These are all good terms, I will remember. And your explanation hits the truth. Furthermore, these humans are sectarian and esoteric, as well as occult and supernatural, and move in their thoughts and feelings, as well as in their delusional beliefs, in illusory worlds and other unreal imaginings. The entirety of this matter of faith and fantasies has developed into a delusion in them which already moves in schizophrenic forms, whereby they no longer perceive the truth and reality, and consequently also can no longer recognize it. And in this delusional form, they infiltrate the humans with their absurdities, which they imagine and also adopt them from other scribblers which you call abkupfern. Copying? Thereby the readers of the entire nonsense are seduced to believingly accept the lies, slanders, the swindle, and the fantasies of these irresponsible scribblers as truth, while they assess the reality and the real truth as unrealistic, unreal, and as untruth. Belief is just very much simpler than investigating the effective truth through one's own seeking and one's own cognitive work. Furthermore, the fantastic and illusory will sooner be accepted by the earth humans than even the truth and reality, which appears banal compared to the fantastic and illusory. Therefore it is so that, standing on the firm ground of the facts, truth and reality is prescribed, while the untruthful, fantastic, and illusory, and all the swindling, lies, deceit and slander which is bound with it, which, since time immemorial, have always been booming business, affect the earth humans like sweet balm, which stills the delight and demand for that which is fantastic and illusory. So lying, swindle, falsehoods, deceit and slander are means through which the human allows himself to be very easily beguiled, because everything is only swallowed and does not have to truthfully be contemplated, while the search for the effective truth and its processing is bound with very much effort and cognitive work, as well as with a sense for the recognition of reality. However, the irresponsible scribblers, who invent the crazy and unreal as well as unrealistic conspiracy theories, copy the entire nonsense from each other and throw everything to their believers as fodder, and therewith earn much money, know exactly that. That is also the case with the books of the hacks named by you, who, without conscience, spread their horrendous nonsense of their dim-witted conspiracy theories and thereby lead their faithful readers into error, convey to them a completely wrong picture of the world, and hound them into angst and terror. The books named by you by David Icke, as well as, however, also the books of Zacharias Sitchin, Van Helsing, and of Retje, belong just as much in the realm of the nonsense and feeble-mindedness of illusory and fantasy-rich conspiracy theories, as also do other similar kinds of works which, if I may use your words, must be labeled as sheer idiocy and schizophrenic delusional imaginings. Truthfully, from the complete contents, there are no things at all to name which could be designated facts of truth and reality, because basically it deals with nothing other than freely invented fantasies and illusions, which are irresponsibly given a coating of truth in order to thereby take those Earth humans into their power who believe the dim-witted nonsense and allow themselves to be taken prisoner by it. From the entire exposition of all books of such a kind, no letter may be considered as true because everything is only built on deception, lies, deceit, slander, fantasies, and illusions, which also applies to the supposed reptoid beings or reptilian humans. Such kinds of beings are pure inventions of the scribblers because they thereby connect the evil and want to thereby transmit the impression of the evil and diabolical, whereby the Earth humans are driven to angst and terror, which naturally again has its effect on the numbers of sales of the books and brings in great profit. Reptoid, respectively, reptilian beings, as these are described in the nonsensical books, exist even less in the entire universe than they do in other dimensions of this universe, so however also not on the Earth, also not in forms of transmuted humans. It also corresponds to a lie that such extraterrestrial beings, or other kinds, have lived on the Earth since time immemorial or since more recent times and are even active in the governments, because assertions which claim that it is true indeed correspond to the crazy fantasies, illusions, angsts, or conscious lies and slandering of the book scribblers. Yet in every regard believers do not, as a rule, let themselves be impressed by the truth. Rather, they faithfully remain in the prison which they themselves delusionally imagine, because that is simpler than having to grapple with the real truth. The truth is just simply and somehow banal, as you tend to say, for which reason it only addresses humans who consciously use their reason and understanding, while the others, who depend on the fantastic and illusory as well as that which pertains to belief, are not willing to free themselves from the nonsensical and the unreal as well as from their not making use of reason and understanding.